touch faucets are pretty awesome as well, right? Like you
Mhm.
don't have to actually manually like turn knobs and things
Mhm.
anymore. We can just touch it and turn it off and turn it on.
Yeah.
And those are fantastic whether you have a disability or not. Sometimes you have
Yeah.
you're playing with chicken in the kitchen. You don't want to touch the faucet, so you just touch it with the back of
Right.
your hand, right?
Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And we are here with the final segment in this series with Mr. Paul Kocharhook from Pathway Design and Construction. And Paul is one of our trustcasters who will be featured every month as we talk about aging in place. And Paul, I am very interested in the whole aging in place concept. And one of the things that I've learned about the statistics of aging in place are powerful. Just interesting statistics here is 55% of senior falls happen inside the home, and many are preventable with modifications. And that's what we talked about in a previous segment. I said 60%, but yeah, it's 55%. 69% of seniors say that technology helps them stay independent. That's powerful, very powerful information. And 24 million Americans are unpaid family caregivers, which is a 32% increase since 2011. Again, an unpaid family caregiver could mean an adult child, but it also could mean a spouse. How can that? And one of the things that we are seeing a lot of times is that the spouse is so stressed out taking care of a loved one that they end up dying before the loved one does. We've seen it happen so often. So, living in a place where there's less stress, there's more functionality, it's easier. Like we talk about universal design, and what does that mean? The flow of the house, reducing clutter, all of the different things to do. I'm interested in your take of, just the whole safety and accessibility and technology factor and how that goes into living with aging in place.
Yeah. Some of the things that we've done, I guess, as far as technology goes, is we've had homes where we have, say, a spouse that is blind and one that
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
deaf, right? So we're looking at how can they, if there's a fire in the home,
Yeah,
uh, how do we adapt to both of those issues, right? Like
right.
one can't see like a strobe light like when it's going, and the other one
Hmm.
can't hear the alarm. So right, so we're putting in combinations of
Wow.
like strobe light plus just the audible noise, or sometimes it's even vibration if
Hmm.
they say carry their phone around with them on a consistent basis, or they might have some sort of a device that they also have with them that might just notify them of an issue within the home.
Hmm.
Right, like those are really important pieces. That life safety piece.
Hmm.
I would say getting in and out of the house is also part of that life safety piece, and
Yeah,
how do we do that
absolutely.
in a way that is manageable for everyone. In some cases, that we have homes that have stairs in them. And from a technology standpoint, like there is an abundance of different lifts that are on the market now that can get somebody in and out of that home safely.
Hmm.
I've always heard that from clients, I don't want a ramp in the front of my house because I don't want to make myself noticeable to somebody who maybe is driving by and that would then potentially take advantage of me. And
Yeah.
so how do we use that technology that's available to us to put a lift in the home, right? Like
Yeah.
get us down to the garage level or something like that, because you still want to keep your car in the garage,
Right.
depending on where you live, right? Like, is it snowing? Is it not snowing? Um, other types of technology, we talked about it a little bit with the cooktops, where induction cooktops, or locations of dishwashers. We've done, bending over as you get older is not as easy, right? So,
Hmm.
and when there's maybe two of you living in the home, then you don't need that big dishwasher. So we do like a half a dishwasher,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like raised up so that it's high enough so you're not having to bend over to pull your dishes in and out, and then you're only running it every so often too. Hope depending on how much you cook, depends,
Mm-hmm.
how many dishes are you creating on a daily basis. But
Yeah.
it's really it's nice. It's fantastic for somebody that's in a wheelchair as
Mm-hmm.
well. Makes it very accessible. Um, other things that we've done for technology wise, different types of like outlets that we've put in like
Mm-hmm.
locations, like we can drop them into a countertop now as opposed to like on a back wall. So if you are in a wheelchair, like if you're trying to put
Yeah.
something in sometimes on a back wall, the reach is not where it needs to, where you can access it
Right.
easily. So we have opportunity to drop them into drawers or countertops. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Touch faucets are pretty awesome as well, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to actually manually like turn knobs and things
Mm-hmm.
anymore. We can just touch it and turn it off and turn it on.
Yeah.
And those are fantastic whether you have a disability or not. Sometimes you have
Yeah.
you're playing with chicken in the kitchen. You don't want to touch the faucet, so you just touch it with the back of
Right.
your hand, right? So it can adapt to all kinds of um, ways that we want to live in our homes.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the other thing I think what you're saying too, as far as the evolution of AI has really allowed seniors to live longer. There's right now technology out there that I've learned. It's right now AI can actually put out like a pulse or whatever that is. It's not noticeable to a human being, but what it does is it will sense if you're having an anxiety attack, if you're having any sort of fall, it will automatically know that you've fallen,
Wow.
and it will have the ability even to sense if you're having a stroke or a heart attack or something like that. And it also can track your everyday routines, so it also knows, you can plug. The thing is, if you have medication time, it will actually remind you to take a medication by doing some sort of an alert on your watch or whatever. And it also knows if you didn't take your medication, it will remind you. So there's all kinds of ways. And then, the other thing, the whole piece of it is let's say mom is getting up more times in the night than normal. What's going on? There could be something happening. If that's the case, there's different forms of alerts. So it's a non-emergency alert. There's different layers so that it gives an individual an area that is completely the average person walking in, like you said, doesn't realize that there is an AI technology going on. But the nice thing about it is in the background, it's always there to provide safety.
No, that's great.
It's just amazing what has evolved in the world of technology, and is something that, when we look at what the future holds for boomers, when we think about, how often, in the future, when I look at senior living, I'm sure could put together a brand new community, open up a brand new community in every city across the USA, every day, and there still wouldn't be enough to handle all the baby boomers. And baby boomers are going to be, by the year 2030, up close to 40% of the population. So when we look at that and we say, how in the world are, we as baby boomers going to be taken care of? And that certainly is a scenario to say, a big majority of us are going to have to age in place, and that provides incredible amount of opportunities for solutions to happen. Working with a family, how, after you've done remodels like that, how does life change?
I gave the example of the couple who had bought the home for their mom,
Yes.
and that was life changing for them. Um, because now she's closer to them, so they can
Mm-hmm.
take care of her. But it also the mother was a little standoffish and she pushed back at the very beginning of this whole process.
Mm-hmm.
And once she moved into her new home and saw all that it could bring for her, all the hobbies that they had, designed into some of these
Mhm.
spaces. Like this is where she's going to do her sewing, and this is where she can do her painting. And it changed how she felt about living in this home. And I think it changed our family dynamic altogether. There was a lot of
Sure.
stress, I think, just in general of like the living situation and who was taking care of who. And
Yeah.
it was life changing for them.
Yeah.
Um, I would say that there was the lady that I was talking about earlier who was the dog walker. That
Yes.
this is a home that she had lived in for I don't even know how long, but we went in and we repaired the home, and it was like we had to fix the siding and the roofing
Mhm.
and kind of fix that envelope of the building, and then we could focus on the interior of the space as well. And
Mhm.
it was her dream. Like this is where I want to live the rest of my life. And like she now has a home that she can completely function in for as long as she needs.
Yeah. Yeah. And certainly with the whole evolution of technology and advancing in so many ways. Um, I envision that aging is going to be easier. I hope anyway, to live independently. And I think that's the thing that, not that senior living doesn't have its place, because a lot of people want that social connection, and those are important as well. And there's a lot of great organizations out there that provide that, but to have the choice. And I think this is where even people in the senior living industry will say the ultimate goal for every senior and what they want for seniors is to live independently as long as possible. And there are opportunities in independent living type communities to kind of have a hybrid of that. And so there are choices. And I think that's the thing that's really great about what is happening in our industry is there are more choices today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Paul, again, how do we reach you? And
Yeah, our website's going to be a great location to find us. So that'll be www.pathwaydc.com.
fabulous. And again, if you're in the greater Seattle area, we highly recommend Pathway Design and Construction. If you're thinking about just having just considering, and Paul, if you're in the greater Seattle area and you want to think about you remodeling their home, how do you get started with you?
Yeah, for aging in place, I think sometimes there's always the question, can we continue to live in this home? And
Right.
it's I'm happy to come out and do a consult with you and just look at some of the potentials that your home has, or
Hmm.
some of the hazards that we might have to think about as we're kind of going through all of this. So I'm happy to come out and do a consult for anybody out there.
Yeah. And just to see, and remember, there's all kinds of options for you. And Paul, we're going to have you back to continue educating us all about aging in place. Thank you so much for being on the program.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And remember, everyone, Paul's website is pathwaydc.com. Download today a free booklet on aging in place. Find out what you could do right now today to get yourself started and make yourself safer starting now. Home should be your sanctuary. Pathway Design and Construction helps you stay in the home that you love to age in place that is as beautiful as it is functional.
Serving Greater Seattle, Puget Sound area, we help homeowners to age in place without compromising their home's beauty and design. And you'll live safer and independently.
So visit pathwaydc.com for a free aging in place booklet to start living safer today. Pathway Design and Construction, building your path to independence. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.